With the latest, I'm joined by our senior political correspondent, Mike Couteur. Mike, what are the allegations? Let's start there.
Yeah, so the allegations are of some sort of financial wrongdoing by the campaign. It's unclear exactly. LEOC, which is the Leadership Election Organizing Committee for the Conservative Party of Canada, would not detail exactly what they are, and they're offering no further comment. I think that is interesting as well, in terms of, just putting out this statement yesterday by the chair of LEOC, Ian Brody, yesterday, detailing a little bit of what the process has been in terms of looking for any kind of explanation from the Brown campaign, and then having this statement here saying that in recent weeks our party became aware of serious allegations of wrongdoing by the Patrick Brown campaign that appeared to violate the financial provisions of the Canada Elections Act. So this is not just the Conservative Party rules, it is the Canada Elections Act. They said that they gave the Brown party ample time to reply to this, and what they did reply with was not sufficient. One source within the party did tell me that there was a vote by members of the Leadership Election Organizing Team on Tuesday evening. The results were 11-6 in favor of a disqualification, so right there, not unanimous. Now, obviously, there was a response by Patrick Brown's campaign that, among other things, a lot of allegations fired back by Brown's campaign. But they also claim that they were never provided the full details of the evidence of those allegations, in a statement saying this is reprehensible, undemocratic behavior that breaks faith with hundreds of thousands of Canadians that embraced Patrick Brown's vision of a modern, inclusive Conservative Party. This is an indictment of the CPC and a party that is not serious about winning a general election. Brown making accusations that the party's decision is essentially in favor of a coronation of Pierre Poilievre, who is the presumptive frontrunner at this point. One more reaction, Marcia, if people will stay with me for just 1 second. Jean Charest, one of the other leading names in terms of leadership campaign, they are apparently looking for transparency and clarity in all of this right now. In a statement, Jean Charest's campaign sent out this saying, "This news from LEOC is deeply troubling. We expect further communications from LEOC on the allegations of wrongdoing. We must ensure integrity of the process. Party members deserve the truth. We need to understand what the allegations are and how Patrick Brown's campaign responded. Transparency is paramount." Transparency being the key here, Marcia. We don't know exactly what these allegations are. Again, financial wrongdoing is what we're hearing from the Election Organizing Committee, the Leadership Election Organizing Committee from the Conservative Party. But at this point, there's not a lot more to go on.
So what happens next? Could he stay on the ballot because the ballots have already been mailed out, Mike?
Yeah, so I'm hearing a couple of different opinions from people within the party on that point. So first of all, his legal team is apparently looking into this, so it may not be over for Patrick Brown. They are likely going to try and challenge this and see where they can move here. The other thing is, in terms of the ballots being mailed out already, I'm hearing one side that's saying that a number of them have already been mailed out, another side saying they've been printed but not mailed out. So it's unclear right now. We are seeking clarification on that, exactly what is the case here. It could be like what we saw in 2017. Kevin O'Leary was on the ballot. They were already mailed out by the time he had dropped off. And don't forget, this is a ranked ballot system. So members who have signed up essentially say what their first choice is, second choice, third, fourth, fifth, and so on. And then what ends up happening is the committee takes those in and ranks them. And let's say, for instance, somebody says Patrick Brown was their #1 choice. Well, if he is no longer valid as a choice, if he is disqualified, you would have to think then they go to choice #2. This is something that the Conservative Party Leadership Organizing Committee needs to explain, and those are the questions we will be asking, how this is going to play out now.
Mike Couteur, keep us posted on any developments. Again, our breaking news, Patrick Brown disqualified from the Conservative leadership race. Thank you for that.